Hi, this is David with Mad Bros Media, and I'm here with one of the greatest character actors of our generation, Mr. Stephen Tobolowsky. How are you doing today?
I am doing very good. Thank you for using the Mister.
Oh, you're welcome. Any great actor you want to respect.
Yeah, the last time someone called me Mister, I think was at the courthouse when I was called for jury duty, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you have a career spanning, you have staggering 250 projects, television and movie. I mean, is there something that you would be doing if you weren't acting?
Oh, gosh. I think when I was in college, I wanted to be a geologist. But, it didn't work out. I mean, digging up the dinosaur bones didn't work out for me, so I'm glad I'm acting.
Oh, maybe you could be in the next Jurassic Park then, or Jurassic World. There you go. You can fulfill your fantasy.
Absolutely. In fact, I did have a chance to meet the real, paleontologist who, had the hat with the feather in it, who was bitten by the coral snake in that last Jurassic Park. I met that guy. James Horner? Horner?
Yeah.
What's the name of that guy? Anyway, he gave me his newest book to give to my son because my son loves dinosaurs so much. And so I will always have a soft spot in my heart for the dinosaur. Yeah.
It's a really fascinating animals. I mean, was there ever a role that you turned down that you kind of regretted? Like, oh, maybe I should have been the lead in Titanic or something.
No, not that. But I'll tell you a role that. No, this hurts. This hurts saying this. ESPN this year asked me if I would play Steph Curry's psychiatrist on a series of comic commercials to be played during the NBA playoffs. And I said, are you kidding? Of course I would do that. Are you kidding? I would do that and wash Steph Curry's car. But it turns out that ESPN was not union. And so Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA said I could not play the psychiatrist at all. And I said, what if I did it for free? And they said, no, because it would be a bad example for everybody else to work outside the union. So that is one huge regret, that I wasn't able to play Steph's shrink.
Man, that would have been amazing commercials. That would have been hilarious. Hilarious.
It hurts. It still hurts. Hurts very badly.
So, word around the campfire is that you were in a band, a garage band, and you had the opportunity you sat it in on one of the first recording of Stevie Ray Vaughn. Is that correct?
No, that is completely incorrect. Let me straighten the record here, since it's whispers around the campfire. Stevie Ray Vaughn sat in on our band. We were a garage band. We were very bad. We were called Cast of Thousands, but we were picked as one of 5 garage bands, and this is before the era of garage bands. This was before there were garage bands. We were more of a living room band or hallway after school band. We were not a garage band. But we were picked to do 2 songs on this album called A New High in Dallas, Texas. And we were on our way to the recording studio, and Bobby Foreman, who was the main musician in our group, who was actually very good. He ended up playing with the New Christie Minstrels. He said that he got this kid from our neighborhood to play lead guitar with us, Stevie Vaughn. I'm going, Stevie Vaughn? Who's this Stevie Vaughn kid? He says, well, he's a 14-year-old kid in our neighborhood, and he's really good. Bobby, you got a 14-year-old kid to play on our record? Man, we can play our own guitars. We don't need any kid to play on our guitars. And Bobby says, Stephen, shut up. This kid, Stevie Vaughn, is really good, and he's going to make us sound like we know what we're doing. So we got there, and this kid, Stevie Vaughn, is sitting on a metal folding chair with his red Gibson with the dual humbucking pickups. And he says, so play some of your song for me. Play some of your songs so I know what kind of lead to do. So we played about maybe 8 beats of the song, boom, boom, boom. And he goes, stop. Okay, I got it. So this is kind of a crappy song. So what I'll do is I'll play like a crappy lead, and then what if I switch into a good lead in the middle of it? And Bobby says, sure. So that's what Stevie did. He played a crappy lead, and then he broke into a good lead, and that lead was Smokin'. And we all stood there with our jaws dropping, going like, this guy is a genius. And the grown-ups recognized he was a genius too. And they said, well, son, do you have any more leads in you? And Stevie goes, oh, yeah, I got another lead. So he stood up and he started doing that high-low thing. He did, ding, 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 brum, brum, brum. The grown-ups called in more grown-ups. And they were staring at Stevie through the glass window and going like, and everybody, I'm a fly on the wall now. I am not participating. I'm just watching. And everybody had their, and I realized everybody was in awe because it was like the first time they saw the real thing. And by the real thing, I mean the real genius. It was the first time any of us encountered genius.
Well, then he went on to be a legendary guitarist, and then
he went on to be very famous and very good. And I did see Stevie one more time, and that was I was shooting Great Balls of Fire with his brother Jimmy Vaughn, who was with the Fabulous Thunderbirds at the time, but also had a part in Great Balls of Fire. And Jimmy and I used to hang out together and pretend we were musicians. Well, he was really a musician. Yeah. But we would go to Kiva Recording, where Eric Clapton did some of Layla, that album. And we would goof off till dawn, and Jimmy and I went to breakfast in Memphis, Tennessee, and there is Stevie Ray Vaughn sitting there when he is Stevie Ray Vaughn at this point. So I run up to him. I go, Stevie, it's me, Stephen Tobolowsky. Remember Cast of Thousands, Kimball High School? He says, we don't do that. Don't do that. We don't play that. I go, I'm sorry, Steve, I'm sorry. And it was at that breakfast that Jimmy and Stevie said, let's play something. Let's do something together. It was at that breakfast they discussed doing the album, was it Family Values? Where the two brothers play together, and it was magnificent. It was magnificent to be a fly on that wall as well. I was a fly on the wall a lot with Stevie Ray Vaughn.
But I was going to say that also that, he went on to be a legendary guitarist, and you went on to be a legendary character actor. So it's like there's just went two different paths. That's all it was.
He'll end up in a Hall of Fame somewhere.
Yeah, well, we'll still remember you too when later on the time come to pass. Yeah. So in the Primary Instinct, your documentary, you said that you used to believe that monsters were real, so that's why you became acting. Was that correct?
That is correct.
And then, so with the reboot and the revamp of the Hollywood monsters, i.e. Mummy, Frankenstein, coming back, is there anyone that you curious about seeing, or is there one that maybe you like to be involved in?
In the old days, the mummies were done without green screens. I've done a lot of acting with green screens since then, and green screens tend to make everything less real. So even though I'm looking forward to Tom Cruise's Mummy, I'm afraid of the green screen. I really am. There's no mummy like an old mummy, and we like our mummies just right out of the box, just like we used to get them, not green screen coming through walls or coming through ashes from volcanoes. We like them fresh out of the sarcophagus and doing the slow walk and strangling people. That's what we like our mummies doing. So I'm not sure. I'm on the fence. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. So the last question, is there a role that you're still like just dying to get, maybe, before you're like, oh, I'm too old, I don't think I'm going to retire. Is there a role or is there maybe like Marvel Cinematic Universe or something, maybe have a spot for you or something like that, or anything?
No, this is a different answer than you'll think, and it's one I just thought of this morning, sitting around this morning, not anticipating this question. And that is, what I began as was a theater actor. Love theater. The only reason I wanted to be an actor was to do Shakespeare and Shaw and Chekhov and Ibsen, to do the great plays, Tennessee Williams, Eugene O'Neill. I didn't imagine that I would end up in a career that is very successful as an actor, where I'm in wonderful shows, like One Day at a Time, like Silicon Valley, like the Goldbergs, where I do voiceovers for cartoons, which are wonderful and a lot of fun. I get to do so many things, but I don't get to do theater anymore. Not at all. So it's my first love, my dearest love, my most enduring love. I've not been able to act in a play for over a decade now. I mean, I was on Broadway in 2002, but I think what I would hope is that sometime before I get too old to remember my lines, I'll get to play another good part on stage.
Oh, in that case, if he does get too old to remember his lines, somebody get him in This Man in Death of a Salesman. Somebody get him in Death of a Salesman. Okay, it's been an honor talking with you, Mr. Tobolowsky.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And this has been David with Mad Bros Media.
Yo.
Where are we going?
Oh, let's not spoil it.
Oh, let's not. Oh, I got that.